Hello all and welcome to the Lair of Lore number 36, we think. We didn't check, but we're assuming. And I'm Cap.
And I'm Miriam.
And we're actually here to talk about MTG artists today, because it's been too long since we had an episode, and frankly, we keep threatening to do an artist episode, so we decided we should finally do it.
Yes, so we each picked an artist that we thought were really cool, and we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
And their art.
So, Miriam, would you like to, start off with the card that you picked? And the person and why?
Cast your mind back just a few years down the road to Shadows over Innistrad. Something is wrong on Innistrad. There's Eldritchian horrors popping up. And I picked the card Thraben Inspector from that particular set. And that just kind of caught my eye because I thought, one, it's a cool card. And the artist for Thraben Inspector is Matt Stewart. So things that kind of drew me to look at Matt's art style more and realize, oh, hey, this is freaking awesome. In a lot of, I would say probably 90% of his cards where there's someone's face, he has such skill in capturing facial expressions that I'm just like, wow, I love this. So for example, Thraben Inspector, so let me just tell you about the card. It's a generic creature, for one, For one white, it is a human soldier, 1/2. So when Thraben Inspector enters the battlefield, investigate. Put a colorless clue artifact token onto the battlefield with two generic, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. If you've been at this as long as I have, nothing can surprise you. That's the hope, at least.
She says, looking as a building is, turned into tentacles.
So, again, the facial expression on this card is like, ugh.
Yeah, if you're looking at the video version of this podcast, I've got the card itself up on our overlay, and the card does not quite do justice to the, full-blown art, because she's just, sneering at it like, the hell is this crap?
Disdain.
Yes.
And that just, I love that so much. I love facial expressions in general. And the way Matt Stewart captured the art of this card, I'm just like, this is fantastic.
I mean, similarly to that, we also have I forgot the name. Was it Shrill Howler in the background, which for a werewolf that is losing part of its face still has a remarkably impressive amount of facial expression for a werewolf that's losing half of its face.
It's both tortured and ferocious.
Until the other werewolf heads erupt out of its mouth when it transforms, and then it just gets creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I picked Matt Stewart to talk about for this episode.
I picked one of my personal favorite, cards specifically, and apparently I didn't save... Did I close mine? I closed mine, didn't I? No, I didn't. There it is. I picked one that I love the art for, and I hate the fact that they have never done a good version of the wallpaper for this. I know that there is a wallpaper of this card on MTG, but it's the weird aspect ratio of just we took the original card and blew it up to full size. It's not a wallpaper aspect ratio, so it doesn't work terribly well.
Oh, does it get all stretched out?
No, it doesn't get stretched out at all. That's the issue, is that it's 900 and something by 600. So it doesn't... Oh. So you just have these big black bars on the top and the sides. Okay. Or you stretch it. But yeah. So this is colloquially known as Skittles, or Skitherix the Blight Dragon. I didn't even make that one up. That is really his nickname.
That's literally going up to this and going, Kitty! For a giant dragon.
For 3 generic and 2 black, he's a legendary creature, Dragon Skeleton. He's a 4/4 with flying and infect. He's the only, I believe, I know for sure he's the only dragon with infect. I think he's also the only black dragon from this entire set as well. Because most of the dragons were in red. But yes, he has infect, and then he's got pay a black. Skitherix the Blight Dragon gains haste until end of turn, and pay 2 black, regenerates Skitherix. So he's very hard to kill.
I would assume so.
And what you can really see very well in the like full blown up art is that the dragons on he's from Scars of Mirrodin, which is why he has infect. The uncompleted dragons have this weird thing where they don't have like full on wings usually. They have sort of like vestigial wings, and then they just kind of have engines in their back. So you can still see that in his case, but in the full blown up art, you can also see that like he doesn't, because he's been completed and made for Phyrexian, he doesn't have any need of like a bunch of organs or anything. So he's just got like bits of his rib cage hanging out and parts of his body just missing.
Mm-hmm. But like all the way up the neck.
Yeah, but something about the like very long neck, and when you get to see the full blown up art, he's also got these like very long arms that are sort of, it makes him almost look more like, for lack of a better word, sort of like a centaur, because he's got this sort of like distinct segmentation between his body where he's got like the lower half and then just this really long section that makes up his like neck and wings and like jet engines.
There's something about the position that his like from the neck down that makes me think cat.
Yeah.
Very cat.
Yes.
Like, I'm thinking cat mixed with llama mixed with lizard.
Yeah, this is the
and
card
then made
that
undead.
I think I pulled this very early on when I started playing Magic. It was just like, this card is beautiful and I love it. And I was so sad to find out that he actually has like no story or anything in Scars at the time. It was just like, yeah, no, he's just a legendary blight dragon. Like, he's the only
pretty
blight
awesome
dragon, but it was just sort of sad to realize that, oh my god, this is like badass and amazing, and he has like no connection to anything that's going on. He's also the reason why I have an infect deck behind me somewhere as like my one last remaining commander deck. But it's Mardu infect, so it's dumb and weird. But yeah, so you picked Matt Stewart and I picked Chippy. One of these has been doing magic art for a very long time and doesn't really do it anymore. The other one has started a couple of years ago and is very prolific and does a lot of magic art now. I'll let you guess which one is which.
Yeah, So when Cap sent me links kind of as we were doing research for the show, I'm just like, wait a second. Clicking on the link. Sorry, this page cannot be found. Sorry, this page cannot be found.
Yeah,
and I got sad.
So in our show notes, you can find that we've got Chippy's full, like, his personal website in it. And unfortunately, he has this section, so it's just an about page and then a section for galleries. And the only gallery that doesn't redirect to this page doesn't exist anymore is his personal work stuff. Because he doesn't really do magic art anymore, and all of his other galleries are like Magic the Gathering, D&D, Deus Ex characters, Thief 4 environments, Tomb Raider, Process and Development, and World of Warcraft. Because from the only source that I've been able to find, apparently he may or may not have stopped doing freelance work, which is basically what you do when you do art for Wizards. Like, you consistently do a lot of art for them, but you're still a contractor, which is a whole other shitty thing. But he apparently works for Valve now? Doing something? I don't know what. Valve being the company that runs Steam, and seeing as the only thing that they actively produce content for anymore is making hats for TF2. I don't know what he's doing besides making hats, because that seems like a gross waste of his talent, but
yeah, that's kind of sad. Because like the pieces that I can see on his site, just the cover art to the galleries, he would have been really fun to check more of his work out.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to cover really quickly, why is his name Chippy when that's not actually his name? Because, unfortunately, I don't know what country this is an issue in. It might be in his home area of the British Isles, or it might be in the States. I don't know which I think it's in the States where this is an issue. His actual name is Brian Dugan, which unfortunately is also the name of a serial killer. And if you search Brian Dugan, no matter how good of an artist he is, that name is also going to be included in the Google searches. So he started using a handle as well.
Chicago.
There we go. Okay, Chicago. Yeah, so that's why Chippy is Chippy.
Oh dear, I'm staying off of this Wikipedia page.
Yeah, it's dark. It gets bad real quick.
Even like the tagline for it, I'm just like, okay, no thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those serial killers where it's just like, no matter what you do as an individual person, you're probably not going to be able to get ahead of them on Google searches.
Nope.
So, I believe in most things he's actually credited directly as Chippy, not as Brian Chippy Dugan. I think it's usually just Chippy for almost all of his, like, creative works.
Yeah.
But just a quick explanation, because I know for a while I was just like, who the hell is Chippy? And couldn't figure out why this name kept showing up that was so different from every other Magic card, where it's like, we've got real names on these, but not on this one? But yeah, unfortunately his whole website is kind of, like, not a thing anymore. I mean, it has his really good art for, what's it called? Oh, it's a goblin from Scars. He did some of his best work in Scars.
Okay, yeah, it's the one with the spike on its head.
Yeah, it has Battle Cry. Goblin War Driver, there we go. A bunch of his cards were legitimately very good and competitive at times. I mean, not quite... I don't think any of them ever reached the insane heights that, like, Thraben Inspector did. But I believe Goblin War Driver did some work. For 2 red, it was just a 2/2 Goblin Warrior with Battle Cry, which was one of the mechanics for Scars of Mirrodin. It was a Mirren mechanic, so it belonged to the things that hadn't been taken by the Phyrexians. And it was just whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. A true warrior fights with whatever's handy. Quirk the secret warren. Of the secret warren. Ah. I believe this was so this was originally from Scars of Mirrodin, where the whole thing was that... So, if you didn't play during the original Scars of Mirrodin set, we had... Sorry, not Scars. This was from Besieged. So you had Scars of Mirrodin, which was about 80% Mirren cards, 20% Phyrexian cards. And it was a large set. Then we had Mirrodin Besieged, which was a small set, and was about a 50-50 split. And then anyone who believed the marketing, we were either going to get Mirrodin Pure, which would be a, like, 80% Mirrodin set and 20% Phyrexian, about the Mirrens winning. The Mirrens weren't ever going to win. That wasn't like a... It wasn't like the Ixalan story thing, where they were going to come up with an excuse for either one to win. The Mirrens were never going to win. Because I think we mentioned this around the Ixalan story, that they showed off cards that were like, here's the Mirren Pure card, and here's the new Phyrexian card, and no matter what, they'll both be in the set. And the new Phyrexian card was like a terrifying completed angel, and the Mirren card was an enchantment that could tap for 1 and gain you life, and cost like 1 mana. And it was just like Pure Steel or something, Pure Steel Amulet, something like that. It's just like, it was never going to be Mirrored and Pure. Or we would get New Phyrexia, which would be an 80% Phyrexian and 20% Mirren set, and it was New Phyrexia. And then one day, we'll remember that the Phyrexians exist, and actively want to complete all planes.
Are we going to come back to it?
I mean...
We'll find out.
They're aware of other planes.
I mean...
They were born on a completely different plane. Well, the oil that made them was born on a completely different plane.
Yeah.
They also were basically created by Karn, so it's mostly his fault. And he's just sort of, I guess, walked away and decided to wash his hands of it? I don't know. Karn seems to have decided he doesn't care anymore.
I mean, you kind of see that a lot with characters, where it's like, I'm done here. I'm just gonna leave and let it, like, crumble into shit.
Well, the worst part is that Mirrodin didn't, Karn made Mirrodin, but he made it as, like, a giant plane that had nothing on it, and then left, and for some reason left the Mirari on it and made it a sentient being. It was just like, you, watch over my plane. And the Mirari who had been made a sentient being went like, I miss my father. He never comes back anymore. How he's a planeswalker. You know what I'll do? I'll steal the souls of other people from other planes to trap them here until one of them is born with a planeswalker spark that I can steal. And then I'll leave and go get him. Also, because Dad has a heart made from, I think it was like a Phyrexian agent. He's been secretly secreting oil, so everyone who's ever Phyrexian oil. So everyone who's ever been on this plane has been like lightly touched by Phyrexian oil. And then he came back because someone killed the gatekeeper that was made out of the Mirari. And he started going extra nutso, and more Phyrexian oil poured out of him, and then it just got worse.
It sounds like it.
Like, if I recall correctly, the reason why he's not, like, just pouring Phyrexian oil everywhere now is because, in the worst magic book ever written, The Quest for Karn, I believe Venser gave him his heart, which works for some reason in Karn. So he's not, like... And then he just, I guess, either they destroyed the old Phyrexian heart, or left it there. But either way, the new Phyrexians know how to make more oil, so it doesn't exactly help. So yeah, he's just gone like, I'm not spreading oil anymore, so I'm just gonna leave. Bye.
Oh.
Hi, cat. That was good timing.
Hi, kitty. So she's been climbing on the banisters now.
That's adorable.
Sorry, so now everyone gets to see my cat.
Yeah.
More than just an awkwardly contorted webcam.
Yay.
Or one of my kitties. I can't imagine Jack being able to.
Can I just? It's just like, can I walk on you? Here.
I love you. I love you, baby girl.
Don't let her rub on the mic. It's just like, ooh, there's a pretty.
Is she rubbing on? I should be out of the floor mic. This mic. The table mic.
It's definitely not using that. It's using your headset mic.
Balls.
Well,
okay.
Don't change it. It actually sounds really good.
I'm not going to. Yeah. This will be a.
No, it actually sounds really good.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Just watch out, because apparently he's just like, ooh, there's a light on the end of this microphone. Come get it.
Tiny adorable interloper is going to be a distraction for right now.
Okay. But yeah, are there any other like big cards that you want to talk about for Matt Stewart?
Okay, so where else is it? I mean, I really liked Creepy Doll, but I'm
basically a card made specifically for you, yes.
I am a strange little person, and I realize that, and I just like my weird art.
How have I somehow... Oh, okay, well, I was about to say, I've somehow lost his MTG artist page, but no, I've got his own website up. Also, apparently every MTG artist in existence uses goddamn Squarespace. Which, that's... Yeah. He did Phyrexian art, too! Oh, this makes me happy. He did. Sorry, so, which one am I... Creepy Doll, there we go.
Creepy Doll is definitely... Let me go back to it. Wait. Okay, there. That's... I now have the right pages open in front of me. So Creepy Doll, which is also from the Innistrad set. Let me pull the art back up properly again. Why are you hiding from me? Sorry, I was trying to pull it up on Art of Magic the Gathering, but let me just search the card so I can give you the card information as well.
I mean, honestly, I'm just going to be trying to pull up the... Oh, shoot. That looks like a sin. Sorry. I'm just trying to pull up the... I'm going to basically just be throwing this into the background.
That's
in the
cool.
Place where...
It actually makes a good background.
Where the Howler is, yeah.
So Creepy Doll is an artifact creature construct for 5 generic and is 1/1. Creepy Doll is indestructible. Whenever Creepy Doll deals combat damage to a creature, flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy that creature. A child's porcelain doll went missing one night, as did a pair of kitchen shears and the town magistrate.
I'd love to make this like smaller to fit better, but I don't think I can.
It's just such a cool looking card. Then also another fun bit of art by him is from Kaladesh, Padim, Consul of Innovation. Oh, we talked about this. We talked about this because of the flavor text.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. There he is.
We did. We talked about this card.
Yes, we did, because he's one of the consoles.
Yes. I also realized he has an extra finger.
Yeah, all the Vidalcan have 6, yeah.
I don't know why I didn't notice that, but
I thought we talked about it, honestly. Oh, this art is so small.
It was a while ago.
Why is this art so small? There we go, that's better.
So, Padim, Console of Innovation, for 3 generic and a blue, is a legendary creature, Vidalcan Artificer. 1 for 1/4. Artifacts you control have hexproof at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control the artifact with the highest converted mana cost or tied for the highest converted mana cost, draw a card. His flavor text is, impress me. Again, facial expressions are so great.
Yeah, the entire focus here is just on, like, his facial expression. Like, there's the weird little...
It's so bored.
The artifact
construct
thing, but it's definitely not the focus. Like,
no,
it's just there to add something else.
And the eyes are, like, so piercingly blue in comparison to everything else.
Okay, well, I'm gonna steal one of Matt Stewart's then, that I think is very good, despite not having a visible face, still being freaking imposing.
Ooh, for which one? Which one?
I think it's actually right next to it, which is one of my favorite cards. No, that's... Hang on. What? No. Copy image address... Oh my goodness, it just pulled up his website instead of the actual image address. There we go.
Oh, no.
What is it called? I know the name of this. Phyrexian Mirror. Oh, I don't know the actual card effect. That was silly. I should have checked that. I know it's a mirror. I want to say it's 2 mana, and it's got Infect, and I want to say it's either 2 or 3 mana, because it has an effect where if it deals direct damage, it's just a 1/1 normally, but if it gets blocked, it gets either +2/+2 or +3/+3. Unless, yeah, hang on. I'm relatively certain I remember this card perfectly, but we'll see. Oh, I'm thinking of this as a card called Ickerclaw Mirror, which it looks like it's designed after... Is this just the token? Yeah, I think this is just the... No. What is this? Yeah, I think this is just the token for a Phyrexian Mirror, then.
Can you link me to that?
Yes, it is the token. Yes, hang on just a second.
Okay.
There you go.
Okie dokie. Oh, of course you would love this.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sorry, that's the actual token. It was on his website, I promise.
Nope, of course you would love that.
Yeah.
That is so you.
It's a mirror, and it's, like, Phyrexianified. That is basically, like, my entire jam all at once.
That is so you right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So Matt Stewart, we applaud you. You have done some phenomenal looking cards.
Turns out that if you did new Phyrexian artwork, I probably love it.
Pretty much.
I'm easily swayed. Sorry, I guess not specifically in the set for New Phyrexia, but specifically the new Phyrexian art style, I love.
Can I just...
Yeah.
Apparently it's, for me, it's Innistrad is what does it.
I am totally fine with Innistrad, too. So which one?
Cobbled Wings.
Is that one on his website?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just being dumb. Right, this is in alphabetical order, you idiot. We've been looking at this for how long, and I just realized that it's in alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't all the cards he's done. It's just like
no, but these are the ones that he's got like full big art versions of, which I love.
And the thing is, I even went onto his Etsy because he has an Etsy.
Yes.
And he has several prints that I love, but he also has done some Middle Earth art. That's just really cool.
I'm curious if he actually did it for like one of the Middle Earth games, or if it's just like for fun.
I don't know, but they're like, I wonder if he has, because the pieces that he's done are varied.
Yeah, or maybe it's just a thing he does to, like, practice?
For funsies.
Yeah. I'm not throwing any of these up because, I mean, they're paid prints, so you should probably go check them out.
Exactly.
I think they're just prints.
Because
I don't think they're, like,
playmats
or anything like that, but they are, like, signed prints.
Yeah. I might be considering getting myself Creepy Doll, the Creepy Doll print.
There's one other one of his arts, though, that I want to throw up real quick.
Go for it.
I mean, Cobbled Wings is amazing, but
It's so beautiful.
One that I think people forget about is he actually did art for... I believe this was one of the great designers, or not great designer, what was this called? I think it's like You Design the Card? It's the thing where they get the community to, like, vote on different aspects of a card.
I think that was, like, Great Designer Search or something like that.
No, Great Designer Search is a thing that's going on right now where a whole bunch of community members can basically perform a bunch of tests to try and get an internship as a designer at Wizards. This is a thing where they do a whole bunch of, like, polls on the Wizard website to, like, vote on aspects of a card. And what we ended up with was Waste Not, which I don't remember being a great card. It was in M15, and I think it was the last time they did this. But the art is creepy. The man has made himself a hood out of, like, a tailbone and hips and things.
I think there might be some those two longer bones are femurs.
Yeah, I think it's femurs that, like, one of them is braided into his creepy face wraps. The other one seems to go into his hood that he made out of a tailbone.
It looks like there's a tailbone and a wishbone.
Oh. Maybe?
With, like, a set of hips above it?
So there could be, like, no, the tailbone wouldn't go into a wishbone like that. It was just like, what is the name of that bone, by the way?
Keelbone.
Keelbone, thank you.
Because birds have it, and in
I think it might not actually be a keelbone so much as just, like, a whole bunch of ribs tied together to make that shape.
Because I was thinking of what bones naturally have that sort of element of curvature.
Yeah, but since it's so, like, tied like that, I think it's not natural.
Yeah. But the two long bones are definitely femurs.
Oh yeah, those are definitely femurs. One of them, like, ties into this hood thing. The other one ties into his mask, I guess? That's creepy.
Maybe, and also is backpack support.
Yeah. I love that he's, like, drilled holes in some bones so that he can tie ropes through it. That's just creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the bag of skulls at the waist.
So...
Oh, hey, there's also a collar of, like, metacarpals and metatars... no, those are just metacarpals.
Yeah, I think it's just metacarpals.
Because, yeah, finger bones have that very specific look to them.
So, I would... Yeah, like to refocus on Chippy a little bit. The problem is that almost none of his freaking art is on Art of MTG.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his art is from before Art of MTG really did a whole heck of a lot. Because one thing that Chippy is relatively well known for is that he helped sort of define what the Alara shard of Esper was going to look like. Mm-hmm. One of his more famous works is that I believe he did all of the land for Esper. I know for sure he did the island for Esper. And if you've never seen them, I can't really describe them well, but the whole idea behind Esper is that so in Alara you had these shards of a plane where they had a 3-color mix, and it was one color and then its 2 ally colors. So Esper had blue as its central focus with black and white, so it ended up being this insanely, like, ordered and perfectly designed plane, which had the weird aspect where a lot of people would replace parts of their body with Ethereum, which was this sort of, like, wild metal that was made out of, like, pure magic, and they couldn't, like, grow it. They just sort of had a limited supply. It was very strange. Let me see. I just want to check and see if he did all of the... Okay, so he did the... I think he did all of the... What's it called?
Esper.
The Esper lands. The problem is that I think each... Well, basic lands. I think that each one only got, like, one card?
I started looking at Esper and kind of what it is, but that's where Tezzeret has come from.
Yes, that is where Tezzeret came from. In fact, Tezzeret's job when he was on Esper... Yeah, okay, so it looks like he did a lot of it, but let me throw up the island, just because it's one of the more well-known ones, because Esper is so ordered and organized that their clouds look kind of broken, in that they're, like, split in places so that they can be more neatly organized and ordered, and so that they only ever cast, like, a rectangular shadow. It's very weird. But yeah, Tezzeret came from Esper. In fact, before Tezzeret became a Planeswalker, and in fact a little bit after, he was a Seeker, who were people who went out and they were basically one of the lower rungs of society, and to make money what they would do is go either find or make a corpse that had some Ethereum in it and take the Ethereum and sell it back to the, like, government, I guess? I don't know if it was ever clearly defined who exactly they sold it to, but, like, that was their entire thing, was just, well, there's only so much Ethereum, so we can go get it out of someone else and bring it here. Like, he also did, Sphinx Sovereign, which is another one of the, like, big, kind of classic Esper cards. For 4, a white, 2 blue, and a black. It's an artifact creature with flying. Sphinx, 6/6. At the beginning of your turn, you gain 3 life if Sphinx Sovereign is untapped, otherwise each opponent loses 3 life. What rises without legs, whispers without a voice, and bites without teeth, and dies without having life.
The wind?
I believe that is what it's supposed to be, yes.
Oh, okay. I was just listening to it. I was like, that sounds like it should be the wind.
Yeah. And then...
The wind rises, it whispers. Yeah.
I had an article here, so this is just, like, a quick run-through of some of Chippy's, like, most well-known card arts. Actually, I don't think I shared this one to you, did I?
I don't think you did.
Okay, here, let me throw this to you. It's just, like, 5, but still. So...
You know, it's still more than, Oh, okay.
So, first up, and I don't think we're going to be going over, like, all of these cards, just more of, like, hey, here's some cards that are... Like, the thing I feel like the thing I like about Chippy's style is that he can kind of do anything.
Yeah.
And that for him, he has this amazing ability to sort of, like, bring the focus into whatever the... I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. So, part of what I love about Magic art is that there is a background. There's stuff going on in the background. But the way that Chippy's art works is that the background is so... is really impressive and very detailed, but something about the way he draws it, the focus is so much more on whatever the thing in the center that is clearly supposed to be what the card is, makes it clearer. Because it's one of the issues that back when I was much younger and played Yu-Gi-Oh! I always had an issue with, was that you'd have these, like, really impressive, cool-looking monsters, but they'd be on a background of nothing. Where it's just like, what is this thing doing? It's just standing here in this void, or in front of this, like, Technicolor dreamscape. That doesn't give me anything about it. And I get that the idea is to bring the focus in on whatever the creature is, but something about the way that Chippy does his art makes it so that the background isn't important. The focus is 100% on the creature. The background just serves to add little bits and pieces. And I think Void Mage Husher, which is the one we've got up right now, is a perfect example of that. Where you've got this, like, world crumbling behind her, but it's so unimportant because the Void Mage herself is so visually striking.
Yeah. It's almost flat, in a way.
Yeah.
It's weird. So it doesn't. It's not. Some cards you look at them and it's like, oh, this is kind of drawn more realistically. The style on this card is like off-puttingly flat, but then you look at certain things like the texture of her pauldrons.
Yeah,
and that looks almost like real leather.
I think it's that sort of idea where it's not trying to be realistic, it's trying to be like color corrected realistic.
Like almost hyper realistic.
Yeah. Like
I'd go so
that idea that when you see something on TV or on a video or something, that's not what it actually looks like. It's what it looks like after an editor has gotten their hand on it and like color corrected different aspects to make certain things stick out more, like the 4 bits of her skin that are showing that are like the pure alabaster,
but also scratched, which makes those like lines show up that much more.
Yeah, and the whatever looks kind of like blood that seemed to have dried and ran down her face.
Yeah, from her eyes.
Yeah, and even just like the little touch of her magic is a color that's offset from her armor and the background and her like very limited skin.
Her eyes and her hand.
Yeah.
Is that super blue color.
Yeah. And then the next... So I'm just going to run through all 5 of these, and I will include this in the show notes, this site where we're getting this from. The next one that they've got on here is Vectis Agent, which is another one of the, like, classic Esper cards, which I think is another great example of it, where there's clearly stuff going on in the background, but it's less important than... I mean, it's not even less important. It's very important, but something about what she's doing makes it, like, is more important, I guess.
Yes. Like, there's stuff happening in the distance, but just, like... You know who she reminds me of a little bit? Guess.
I'm gonna guess Vin.
Yes.
Yep.
That's an easy one.
Yes, it is.
I was like, he's gonna get it if I ask him what this card reminds me of. And bingo, right on the nose.
And yeah, this is supposed to be like an assassin for whoever's running the Esper, basically. Where besides her head, basically her entire body has been converted into Ethereum.
Yeah.
And
except for maybe her fingers.
Maybe? Yeah, her fingers are too, like...
fleshy.
Yeah. Well, just because when Ethereum does hands, it usually does, like, pointy claws.
I think she wanted that dexterity from...
Probably, yeah.
Fingers? But she might hate them regardless.
I don't think she cares all that much. It's just more of, like, this is a job.
Function versus...
Yeah.
Huh.
The next one, which I love, because apparently I just like drakes and dragons that Chippy does.
You like dragons, you like drakes, and you like dinosaurs.
Yeah, but this is another one where this has also been done by Chippy, and this is another new Phyrexian thing.
Super bony.
Yeah. Except it refuses to... Hang on. Copy image. Refresh. There you go. Yeah. This is another one where I owned this card and can't tell you what the heck it did because it wasn't great for any of the decks I played, but it's the same sort of thing where this one's blue. It's a drake or a dragon that has been, well, in this case it's a drake, that has been completed by the Phyrexians. So it's got this, like, metallic tail and these, like, this toothy maw, but it's almost as though the sort of, like, teeth, or the same design as the teeth sort of extend down its back. And then you've got
it's
this...
also got oil slick colors as well.
Yeah, I think that's part of why I think it's such a good thing for New Phyrexia. And then you've got this weird aspect where in the center, it's almost like it's still sort of fleshy, as though it's just like, we haven't figured out the best way to replace the wings, so I guess you get to have fleshy wings for now, until we figure out how to replace it. Because it's not like the Blight Dragon where it's just got engines that can move it forward.
So I looked up what the card does.
Yeah.
Not that much. It is, 2 generic, 2 blue, 2/4 with flying. So when Dark Slick Drake is pulled into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card.
Okay, I wanted to say I thought it had some sort of graveyard effect, but that was the best I had.
Yeah. So it doesn't do a whole lot, but still cool.
I think the next two are much more impressive.
Yes.
So the first one is dumb. It's very dumb. It's a very good card, but it's also very dumb. It's Abyssal Persecutor, which, oh my goodness, why is this overlay being so dumb? Okay. I'm going to try and remember exactly what this does, but if I recall correctly, and I'm assuming that you've already pulled it up to correct me, it's...
yes.
Okay, so I'm going to say, I think it's 6 mana, probably 2 black and 4 generic, maybe 3 black and 3 generic. I want to say it has Flying, Trample, maybe Lifelink, but probably not. And it has the extra special stupid clause of you cannot win the game and your opponent cannot lose the game. This is a card that if anyone listened to the mana pool, it's the one that famously Mike had the win on, like had won the game, but kept for some reason protecting his Abyssal Persecutor instead of letting it get killed or killing it himself, and then realized after he ran out of ways to kill it that he couldn't anymore. He was just like, I'm going to lose because I refused to kill the demon that was stopping me from winning. Oops. So what is it?
You're really close.
Okay.
It's 2 generic and 2 black.
2 black.
Slightly
Oh
less.
my god. Is it still a 6/6 or is it? Oh, okay, it's a 4/4.
Still
okay.
a 6/6.
Wait, it is a 6/6?
It's still a 6/6.
Oh, okay then. I was overcosting it by 2.
You were, but you got everything else correct.
Does it have lifelink?
No, sorry, scratch
Okay,
it. No
okay.
lifelink, but it does have flying and trample.
Okay, it was just like, it's a big demon. It's got... So
Yeah.
usually big demons have flying, trample, and are 6/6s, but that was the closest. I was just like, I can't remember if it has lifelink or something, but no, I guess
That was pretty good.
It makes sense for it to not have lifelink.
Flavor text for this card.
Ooh.
His slaves crave death more than they desire freedom.
Mm.
He denies them both. What a jerk!
And last but not least is probably the best art that Sarkhan Vol has ever had. Sarkhan the Mad. This is Sarkhan after both Nicol Bolas and the spirit of Ugin are shouting in his head, which, just to prove that they had no idea what the hell they were doing with Ugin several years ago, that dragon that's apparently in his head looks nothing like Ugin. Like, just to prove, like, look, there's some stuff that happened in the M19 story that I have already been informed of that sounds massively dumb and retconny, and not like, hey, we're, like, gonna go refer back to some old story stuff, just like, we don't actually know what we're doing with Nicol Bolas, except that he's going to Ravnica, so I guess we should come up with a story for him, and a reason for any of this to be going on. Like,
I would like to point out all of that sketchy loveliness in white in the back.
yeah, that's what I'm pointing out. That's like,
that is beautiful.
I think
So
that is
pretty.
supposed to be the, like, spirit of Ugin talking to him, which doesn't look like
Yeah.
Ugin, because Ugin now is a twin of Bolas for some reason. The current story is stupid. Just sticking with that.
Beautiful, though.
But yeah, so this is Sarkhan after he started to, like, lose his damn mind because both Nicol Bolas and Ugin are, like, screaming in his head. I believe this is the only planeswalker who cannot give himself additional loyalty. Because instead of a +1, he's got a 0, and I believe it's a draw a card effect that lets you... That, I think if you draw a land, either nothing happens or you can play it. And if you draw anything that isn't a land, he takes damage equal to its CMC, if I remember correctly. And then he's got a -1 and like a -4?
You got 2 of those, so it's a 0 and -2, a -4.
Okay, it's -2, not -1? Okay.
Yeah, comes in with 7. So reveal the top card. His 0 is reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. Sarkhan the Mad deals damage to himself equal to that card's converted mana cost.
Yeah, so if it's the only way for him to avoid taking damage is for it to be
drawing
0
land.
cost or for it to be a land.
Yeah.
So no matter what, he's just constantly beating himself up. Isn't his -2
Yes.
just like destroy a creature?
Target creature's controller sacrifices it. Then that player puts a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield.
And what's his other ability then?
So -4, each dragon creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target player.
Huh. Huh.
Agreed.
Yeah. He's very weird. I know, once again, that I want to say Mike did something relatively impressive with Sarkon the Mad, but he's weird. He's very, very weird. But I still think this is some of the best art that Sarkon has ever gotten.
Agreed.
Because his art in Tarkir wasn't that... Well, okay, his first art in Tarkir was good. But his second one was him being all, like, dragonified and was kind of dumb.
Yeah, this is just creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I love
uncomfortable.
that when... I want to say they use this for something else, because there's a image somewhere that's a little bit more zoomed in on his face, and you can see that his eyes are just, like, glowing red. Like, that's not, like, his eyes being bloodshot, it's just, like, magic flooding through.
Then my question is, where did all that blood come from?
That's probably best not to ask. It's probably his, but who knows?
I was thinking, like, is he scratching at things?
I mean, he's on... Zendikar at this time. It could have been a bunch of Eldrazi that he killed. I don't know.
Possibly.
Probably not. I don't remember why he was on Zendikar, honestly. Like, he was... It was so odd, because we got cards for him in 2, like, back-to-back blocks, didn't we? Because he was in Shards of Alara, because his whole deal is that he, like, loved and sought after dragons, and Shards had Jund, that was a plane dedicated to eventually everything gets eaten by a dragon. Or everything gets eaten by something that eats something, or that gets eaten by something else, that gets eaten by something else, that gets eaten by a dragon. It was a weird, weird shard. The entire thing was that, like, death doesn't actually matter, and a bunch of things on Jund had evolved specifically to gain benefit out of having been killed and eaten.
Okay.
Because it was, red was the focus, so that's why dragons were the main idea, with black and green as the other parts of it.
I just threw one more up in there from Matt Stewart.
Which one is that? Oh, I feel like I've seen this one before.
You probably have. It's a Kaladesh.
Master Tinkerer. Okay. Do you want to
He
come?
looks like Kaladeshi Santa Claus.
Oh my god, he does. I love it. Kaladesh has Santa Claus. Got it. I mean, it looks like he's making a toy.
He does! He looks like he's making, like, dolls.
Okay, you should probably read this, because it makes him sound even more sort of like Santa Claus, but not quite.
So not to, like, completely derail...
No.
What Cap was talking
I needed
about.
to be derailed anyway.
This is just... So again, faces. I love a good face. So this is Master Trinketer. Trinketeer, excuse me. For 2 generic and a white, this is a Dwarf Artificer for 3/2. Servos and Thopters you control get +1/+1. For 3 generic and a white, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Flavor text. Let us never forget the joy that lies at the heart of invention.
Aw.
He looks like a Kaladeshi Santa Claus. All he needs is a scarlet cloak of some sort, and he'd actually be ready for the holidays.
I feel like they probably didn't give him that cloak specifically because then he'd end up, like, looking like he's siding with the rebels.
Yeah. Maybe a blue cloak. Because blue is the color of the ether.
I love the clearly waxed mustache.
It's so great! And he has, like, a little, like, ponytail on the top of his head.
He does.
Bound up there.
That's adorable.
Yeah, Kaladeshi Santa Claus.
Are there any other cards you want to jump onto real quick?
Let me skim real quick. But I mean, there's a lot of really cool cards. Just going and searching literally just searching Matt Stewart MTG.
Yeah.
Or
He has done some
he's
very,
done a
very
lot of
impressive
cards.
art. Yeah.
Yeah. And quite a few... He's done some lands as well. Which is
Yeah,
cool.
there aren't a lot of artists who do land. Usually they do, like, exclusively or more land than other stuff.
Yes.
Because, what's his name? There's a guy who I think does almost only land, and now I'm forgetting his name. Shoot.
What set are you from?
Earth.
There's a card from the conspiracy set that I think is kind of cool.
Okay.
Marchesa the Black Rose.
He did Marchesa? I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Art of MTG, where are you? Yes, Matt Stewart. There we go.
So, yeah. Marchesa the Black Rose. And then I think what also goes with it is Power Play.
Just trying
in
to
terms of
find
they pair together, it looks like, for a story.
Oh, there it is, yes. Okay.
Face.
Okay, let me just put up Marchesa first.
Really lush
and we'll see.
background.
Yeah. There's Marchesa, and let me...
When he does a lush background.
Ooh,
and,
okay.
Like, super detailed.
Did you pull up the Marchesa, the Black Rose on...
I did.
So did you scroll down?
The, like, sketchity art?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I've got it up. So again, sorry for anyone who's watching this on, or not watching, listening to this. We have a bunch, because this is an art episode, we're doing a lot of visual stuff. And on the Art of MTG, they not only have, like, the finished version of Marchesa, they also have this, like, really impressive, like, pre-coloring sketch. Like, it's very, very impressive.
It's gorgeous.
And just sort of makes it clear that how much extra work has to go into making something like this.
I just also want to point out, in terms of detail, instead of it just being like a plain colored glove, no, there is like actual lace on the gloves and the kind of like fan collar that she has behind her head.
Yep.
And it is visual lace that you can trace the design of.
Yeah, you can't... It does not exist as much in the sketch.
It's more like
in the
like
original,
an idea of it.
in the finished one, you can definitely see that there's like lace on her gloves. There's sort of this like partially see-through lace fan thing at the back of her neck. It's all quite impressive.
It is a lush piece.
Yes.
And like even in this card art, those details come through really strong.
Yeah. Like, I think Matt Stewart, besides, like, the amazing focus on faces, I think part of what makes his art so good is sort of the exact opposite of why I was liking Chippy's, where there is a background and it's detailed, but because of the way he, like...
It's soft,
brings the
but it tells the story.
The way that he brings the focus onto the character and the background is sort of, like, more faded. For Matt Stewart's, it's always like the character blends with the background, but something about them sets them apart, so you know what you're supposed to be looking at. So, like,
it's
in
like
Marchesa's
about
art,
the crispness of the lines.
I wouldn't even say the crispness. I think it's just a color thing, with at least with Marchesa specifically, where you've got like these bright, bold colors throughout the entire art until you get to Marchesa herself, who is just like.
Purple, and she's just Liliana would compare wardrobe notes.
Yeah, but it's like these purples. It's cool. It's much calmer. Like she herself
in the shadowy corner of the art as well.
Yeah, I think that's why I think this is done so brilliantly. Is that he's got this insanely detailed background, but you still know what the focus is supposed to be, because
it tells a story as well. Like literally, someone is face down in the soup. She looks like she might be fiddling with her ring. As in, like, a poison ring. And that smart-ass look on her face.
There's a dagger or something in her large ring on her left hand.
Oh, that's a dagger? Okay.
Or it might not be like a dagger, but there's something. It's
like a stiletto.
But it's even too small for that. Like, it's clearly coming out of the ring, so I guess maybe, like, a syringe?
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, it also sort of fits with her whole mechanic, which is that she has Dethrone and gives your other creatures Dethrone, which, if you haven't seen, Dethrone is a mechanic from Conspiracy that Conspiracy was a multiplayer-focused set, so it gave you incentives to attack whoever had the most life points.
Yeah. But this art, though, is stunning. And super detailed.
Or creature you control. Oh, right, and yeah, she has the thing about anyone who serves her and helps her dethrone gets returned from the graveyard.
Yeah. I will reward you for your fealty.
Well, I think with that, we should probably call this episode to a close.
Honestly, we could talk about...
Oh, we could. That's why I'm trying to, like...
And we did, like, almost just over an hour. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's more of that I know that we can keep going forever, so I think we should call it here.
Yeah, we could natter on for ages about this.
So, thank you all very much for listening. Or watching, I hope, because, like I said, there's a bunch of visual elements to this.
This is more of a visual episode.
Yeah. But if you want to see the rest of the stuff that we do, you can find all of it over at lairoflore.com. Specifically, we mostly do Twitch streams. It's mostly me, but Miriam will occasionally join me, along with a couple of other folks, which you can find at twitch.tv/lairoflore. If you want to help us and support what we do, you can subscribe on Twitch, you can give bits, you can support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/lairoflore. There's a whole bunch of different options, including one that gives you access to the Derpy Puppy feed, or as it's been renamed, the Menagerie of the Lair, since we have a cat too. And some other goofy stuff, like you can get access to the Engine Room, which is stuff before and after this podcast, along with before and after some of our other recorded things. It's all big, goofy, silly fun. Hopefully you'll check it out. And yeah, you can also find us on, like, Facebook, Twitter, pretty much anything. If you type in Lair of Lore, it's probably us. And right, I always forget that you can email us at masterminds@lairoflore.com. Is there anything you want to plug, Miriam?
Nope, that should be good.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Bye, all.
Bye.
Hey, folks. Hope you enjoyed that podcast. I just wanted to pop in here and give a quick shout out to our wonderful painters in the Lair who make all of this possible. Tremor 101, Stark Maximum, Damasu, Gothic Airman, and Pentaperi. Thank you all so very much. This is all because of you. Thank y'all.